I give to you the Mantastic
What's
Four.
happening? Welcome back to another episode of the Mantastic Four podcast. This week we do have Tammy, aka Manicured Mom. Give her a hand. Everybody clap.
Hey, oh.
Yes. And shout out to Retired Goat, who is this week filling in for Black Spider Guy Advice. He couldn't make it tonight. So welcome back, Goat.
Booyah.
So Tammy, I know you from TikTok. I've been watching your TikTok videos. You are a huge advocate for men's rights. So thank you for supporting us men.
Absolutely. I have a son. He's going to be a man.
Yes. And how old is your son, if you don't mind me asking?
He's 8.
He's 8. Okay, so he's really young.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I figure I got a good 15 years before he's going to face a lot of the stuff that you guys can face. So maybe some change can happen before then.
Yeah, we can only hope, right? And you've been on Paul's podcast. How many times have you been on Paul's podcast?
Once.
Once? Man, Paul, I thought you said that there was a woman that was that's been on your podcast like numerous times.
Yeah, not Tammy. But Tammy's welcome back anytime.
Yeah.
Morgan May, actually.
Morgan May
has been on 3 times now. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right, cool. Well, we're gonna get the party started. Chuck, I believe you said that you wanted first question, right?
Yeah, I'll take it from there. And first of all, Tammy, Manicured Mom, I did just want to thank you for standing up for men's rights. And then let's dive into it. There's a little bit of a rumor, a controversy going around that you don't like me, and I'd just like to clear the air. Could we do that?
It's not that I don't like you. I think some of the stuff you say is very, very valid, but some of the stuff you say is very, very much as a woman, like, and even me, I have a thick skin. I'm like, oof, that's a little rough.
Cool. Let's get it. Let's get into it. What are some of the things that Chuck says?
Like, Paul, I wouldn't come on here if you weren't going to be nice to me.
I told him, I texted him that too, and he goes, "Oh, I definitely want the first question."
Yeah. Yeah. He says, yeah. He said, I'll take first question. I was like, all right, cool.
This may amaze you, but you might not be the only person who doesn't like me.
I don't dislike you. I understand why a lot of women absolutely hate you. And I know I have a few female friends that are very shocked that I would agree to come on a podcast with you. And I'm like, no, because he actually says some valid things. And he says some good things that need to be said.
Is it the directness?
Rough on the women, but that's okay.
Sometimes they like that.
Sometimes they do.
You know,
I think a lot of them are a little broken.
I was going to say, so J-Rod brought up Morgan. And I just was talking to Morgan earlier today, and she was asking me like why I'm doing, why I do Mantastic Four and stuff. And she's like, I actually like Chuck's videos, but it's like a train wreck, right? Like you can't look away. And then she goes, and then sometimes the stuff he says is actually just harsh truth that forces her to look at herself. So that's actually why she likes Chuck. But at the same time, she's like, yeah, I don't know. why are you on Fantastic Four? Yeah.
A lot of women won't even go on a date or talk to me because I know Chuck, and I'm like, that's okay.
It's a good way to eliminate them because you.
Yeah.
I mean, Chuck speaks a lot of truth. He does.
There's a lot of women that openly hate me and then DM me shit that you wouldn't believe too.
Oh, I can only imagine. I have yet to figure it out, but there are a lot of men that openly hate me and that DM me shit that you wouldn't believe.
I mean, for the record, I don't hate you. I think you're kind of hot.
Well, thanks.
All right. Well,
how can I put it down though? What I want to know is how could I be less abrasive yet still deliver the truth? Like
color within the lines.
You know, you've gotten less abrasive probably in the last few months than you were probably 6 to 8 months ago.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the
and maybe I've become a little more open also because I've been in the men's rights space a lot more. So I'm watching a lot of more men's videos. So I have probably gained maybe a little bit of thicker skin, but I think it might be a combo.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Still think you're
All right. Well, I'm Well, Tammy, I got a question for you. So in some of your videos on TikTok, you talk a lot about online dating.
Yes.
And so I want to know for a man, what do you think the perfect online dating profile should be for a man, from his profile pictures to his bio, if he wants good results?
He should have, if the app gives you the option when they show the app, if it's 3 main pictures, 4 main pictures, he should have all 4 pictures. Mm-hmm. One should be a picture of his face, one should be an action shot, one should be him out and about somewhere, and one should be in his home somewhere. Because that gives when I look at a profile, and as a woman, when we look at a profile and we can see that, we go, oh, he does fun things, he lives in a decent place, and it gives a variety for us to kind of see. The other thing is it's not necessarily the perfect thing that somebody writes, because what would be perfect for me is going to be completely different for another woman. It's mm-hmm. that it's well thought out, that it's well spoken. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have typos in it. And if you were supposed to answer 4 questions, that you answered all 4 of them, mm-hmm. and that your answers weren't negative. Like, I remember seeing a profile where the guy responded, well, at least I'm not dead today. Well, you're a ray of sunshine. Swipe left.
I have followed none of your rules.
And the other side is I cannot tell you how many men go through and list. And if you're one of these 52 women type of like everything that's wrong with, like every generalization about the negative side of women in their profile, I'm already fighting a losing battle with a guy like that, because he's already assuming that I am all women. Why would I? So not having that negative connotation of I don't like most women, because I don't want to be the part of the most women, and I don't want to fight whether or not I am. Mm-hmm. So positive and completely filled out is extremely important.
Awesome. Yeah.
And if you're sending the message to a woman, make it about her content, or make it about something very specific in her photograph. Because from a woman, the difference between men and women on dating apps is women are a lot more particular in what they send. So I may go through and I may choose to message 1 or 2 people. But I put my dating app down for 48 hours and I had 100 and some people I had to go through. Well, it's pretty quickly. If your message doesn't catch my attention, I'm absolutely not going to respond back to you. And that's the difference between men and women. A lot of men kind of work in the law of numbers. If I swipe the right way on 52 women, I am more likely to get a response back. But what that does is actually negative for men, is it puts women in the position to be the ones picking. So of course, what are we going to pick? We're going to pick the top 5% if I get to choose from 100. Why would I go for the bottom 10%? Whereas if I only got responses from 2 or 3 people that had validly looked into my profile and said, man, I like everything about this woman, I wouldn't get to be as picky, as choosy on a dating app as I am. But that's the experience that I've seen with 80% of my girlfriends. Some of them very attractive and some of them not so attractive, is they have hundreds of people to choose from. And then I actually have access to a couple of my guy friends' dating apps, and I see how many they've swiped on and they're just waiting for responses. And I'm like, you're not making these women be picky.
Wow.
That's why, I was going to say, Chuck texted me earlier and was asking about Tinder Premium. And that's one of the reasons why I like Tinder Premium as a guy, is I feel like it's worth the extra money, because then you can be more passive and use the dating app like a woman would, where you can wait until someone swipes on you and go, oh, do I like her or not? And then you don't have to sit there and spend your time swiping all day, and you use your time for better things.
I don't want to get too into this, and I bounced my profile off Goat too, but it opens up with I'm married, and I just retooled it to say side chick application. I mean, I got like 4 swipes in the first 10 minutes. We were blown away when I just went live with it.
But so here's the thing. So a lot of times when I'm talking to guys about the dating apps, a lot of the men that I'm talking to, the questions are coming from guys that are looking for a long-term relationship. So the advice that I'm giving you is very different, because I'm giving you advice as if you're looking for a long-term relationship. You are not. And there are women that are specifically.
I got a side chick. We just celebrated a 7-year anniversary. I got a side chick. We just celebrated a 7-year anniversary. That's long term. Well,
yes, but is she gonna want to have the second one in there for long term?
I mean, she's going on a date tonight, and every time she does, I wish her well and hope she doesn't come back. I mean, I'm not bullshitting you. I'll show you the text. It's just
No, I absolutely believe you. But what I'm saying is you're looking for a specific type of woman, and women that are okay with that are going to instantly click and say, well, this is interesting because I have a friend that wants to be nothing but a side chick because she doesn't want a commitment. I can't read that. I'm old. I don't have my glasses on.
well, anyway, whatever. We can go back to it later.
Wow. I think it also helps, Tammy, if you share the same interests with the person on the dating app too. Like for me, for my matches, if we share the same interests, like for example, one of the things that I enjoy is hiking, and I see that she also enjoys hiking, and she has some pictures of her hiking. You know, it's just a conversation right from there. I say, hey, I see you enjoy hiking. How long have you been doing that for? Where is that spot? It looks like a cool spot, and then you can just go from there.
Absolutely. I mean, I always when I'm narrowing down matches, I used to always look for people that had some form of common interest because it's an instant. I don't want everything in common with somebody, but that common interest is an absolute instant go for me that I know we're going to be able to enjoy this together. So if we enjoy this, we probably have other views. So having common interests. And the other thing I always instantly look at is political view and religious, because I'm a Christian and I couldn't date an atheist because, well, I want him to pray to the same God. And I'm a Republican and I would struggle dating a Democrat because I want to be voting for the same things. That's what, I mean, it says a lot about your core and your belief system as a person. So if anybody that wants to avoid those two things, I think is setting themselves up for failure if they're looking for a long-term relationship. If you're looking for a fling or a one-night stand or whatever, none of that really matters. At that point,
my most productive dating profile actually flat out says this will lead to fucking and possibly long-term dating. And if you're going to pretend to be offended by that, don't even respond. So it is a common interest. And if they respond knowing that that's out there, I'm in. And
yes, exactly.
Text, I give them my name, Google me, and we're done.
Yeah.
All right. Paul, do you have a question for a manicured mom?
Yeah, I'm going to go in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Tammy, you recently got into some kind of arrangement with the Father's Rights movement. How did that come about?
So I have followed them and followed their advocacy on Facebook for a while. And one of the headmen from the Father's Rights movement just reached out to me to ask a question about something. I jokingly said, I'm probably going to be in the job market. Are y'all looking to hire somebody? And he said, no, but we are looking for somebody. And we are actually going to see if we could talk to you about coming on board and working with us from an advocacy standpoint. And the more and more I talked to them, the more and more I was like, this gives me a chance to actually put my mouth in a place to make money and lobby. Like they were sitting in court today testifying with, about all of the facts of why 50-50 parenting should be, I think they're in Minnesota, why 50-50 parenting should be the norm and why it needs to be sitting in the law nationwide. I mean, they're doing some validly good work. They were in charge of making the change in New Jersey. They're working on some other states right now. And it gave me a chance to actually sit down and do something other than just talk about it.
Got it. So I was going to say, so they you actually have a job with them then?
No, I don't have a job with them.
Oh, okay.
They don't have any employees. They're 100% volunteer and they rely on donations to be able to pay lobbyists where they've written laws, and they've got some really brilliant people on their team that go out and do testify in court and things like that as a court witnesses, and particularly in cases where they could write case law off of it. But everybody's volunteer. So they asked me if I would want to volunteer because they couldn't afford to pay me. And I was still like, yes, absolutely.
Got it. Okay. So it's a volunteer gig. I think it's a good thing to volunteer for though. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that you got involved with them.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. I'm doing their TikTok, obviously. And then in the background, the Father's Rights Movement is working on a benefits program where they've gotten lawyers and therapists and everything from all across the country that they're working for, where men that are going through custody battles will be able to go on and based on their income pay for a very minimal amount, $5 or $10 a month, But with that, they'll get an hour or two of free counseling, an hour or two of consultation with a lawyer. If they want to go to court, there are many lawyers that, if they're a member of the Father's Rights Benefits Program, they will be able to get discounted lawyer fees. Right now, that's all in the works, and I'm kind of stepping in as the project manager. There's, some IT people in the background writing all the programming. There's people investigating all of the providers that are kind of come in and vetting them to make sure that we're like, when counselors are chosen for the program, make sure that these counselors are pro-man, because a man going to a counselor that's not pro-man is going to do nothing but damage him.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I'm going to have my hands super, super, super busy. I may not ever go back to work and keep volunteering and try to figure out how I'm going to keep paying the bills.
I'm gonna come up with a lot of ideas on that one.
Go.
I don't know if I
from
want to.
No, I was actually just thinking what you're doing is a pretty good thing. And I was going to ask even how would we make a donation if we wanted to? Maybe we could tell the podcast people to do that.
Yeah.
So if you can go to tfrm.org, and there is very easily a donate button there, and you can donate right on their website. And obviously I run their TikTok page, which is at the Father's Rights Movement. And then they have the Father's Rights Movement Facebook group, which is a ginormous group. It's got 600,000 members in it. And they have live Facebook things, 2 or 3. They have state of the courts. They have kind of pro dad things. They have dad stories come on like 2 or 3 or 4 nights a week, live on Facebook too.
Okay. We'll link to that in the description, I think.
Yeah, okay. For sure. Hey, go.
Great organization doing amazing things.
So, go. I can't look at you, man. Do you have a question for Tammy?
Hello, Tammy.
Oh, God.
How are you? Oh, no.
Hi, Gotina.
My name is Princess. You might know my mentor, Love and Justice. And I have a message. No, hold on. See, watch. So I'm going to talk right up to the camera like this. But anyway, she sends a message to you, Tammy. You're a narcissist. And Chuck, you're a narcissist. And Paul, you're a narcissist. And J-Rod, you're sexy. I can't help it. But listen. No, listen. And on top of that, she's a Trump girl, which is kind of like a prostitute having a moral objection to pornography. But anyway, I have a question for you, Tammy.
Yes.
Finally.
Considering that all men on earth are narcissists, as a matter of fact, we're trying to get the census.gov to change its name to narcissist.gov because that's everyone except for me and Love and Justice. But listen, men have never, ever done anything for women in the history of forever. Why are you supporting them? What do you get out of it?
I have a son. Men are awesome. I had an amazing dad that raised me and taught me everything I know in life, pretty much. And if he wasn't a justification for why men need support, I don't know what is. But I mean, I hear these stories I watch their videos. I hear them from men of how they've been run through the ringer in court. They've had their kids taken from them. And every time I see one, and half of these times, like when guys will tell me their story on a live, or they'll send me a message about it, and particularly on a live, when I've sat on a live and watched a few of these men tell their stories and they're in tears, all I see is my son. Because if he decides he wants to get married and have kids, could potentially and most likely be his reality. And I'm to look at my son someday and say, your mom did everything that she possibly could to make sure that this did, or to try to make sure this didn't happen to you. Because from a mental health standpoint, from a court standpoint, men deserve better. And as feminism has gone from, that phase 1 and phase 2 of feminism, which actually had concrete legislative action that they were trying to take, to the 3 and the 4, and almost, now are subjected as to whether we're into 5, and brought in the Me Too movement. It's more of like I am woman, hear me roar about domination. And they're leaving men behind in the process. And absolutely positively angers me because I am a person that likes to live in a world of fairness. And right now,
No, but with the tiara and the sparkly hair off, sincerely, thank you. It's much appreciated. And I would say that, when people, when ladies like to, or even guys want to, throw their smoke at you, and you and I have talked back and forth in DMs, and I've told you I appreciate you and supported you before, but what you're doing is kind of like all of the men, probably everyone in this room. I don't want to speak up for everybody, but they can agree. But there are so many men that are on the side of, women should never be abused. No one should ever be economically controlled. Narcissists shouldn't tear people down in their life. No one should be stopped from going yada, yada, yada. So, there's got to be a fairness on both sides. And I just appreciate you being on this side of it. And thanks for coming on the podcast.
absolutely. I mean, I've said this time and time, there are extremists on both ends of this. There's extremists on the men's activist side, and there's extremists on the feminist side, and they kind of ruin it for everybody because they build a lot of hate from the other sides, because it seems like the extremist voice get heard more than the others because they're a little bit louder.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yes, exactly.
It's the Jerry Springer factor, right?
Yeah.
Entertainment, almost. It's almost entertainment.
Yeah.
I have another question for you, Tammy. So, what do you have to say to these women out here that are saying that they're struggling to find a good man? There are no good men anymore, Tammy. No good men. We can't find good men anywhere. So, what do you have to say to women that say that they can't find a good man?
One, it's very easy to open your eyes and look, but those women that generally say they can't find a good man, their definition of a good man is 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, 6-figure salary, and $600 suit. And they will not look. I mean, it's 666 plus the extra 6, which means they're going straight to hell, and they're never going to get a good date, because you can't subject a man into a little tiny box covered in 6s and expect everyone to fit. They can't find a good man. I mean, I struggle when women say, I can't find a good man. Well, they're everywhere. I mean, half of them you've probably turned down in your life. Some of them you may have friend zoned, and half of them you just walk by because, you know what, his hands are a little dirty because he's a painter for an auto body shop, and you think he doesn't make any money. Well, he probably makes more money than the accountant you were dating last month.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I tell women that are struggling to find good men. Where are good men? Well, they are everywhere. You just have to look. Get off the internet, go outside. That's what I tell them. Get off the internet, go outside.
Put down the game and go play outside.
That's
and
right.
A lot of my divorced friends lead with their divorce settlements. And I've lost a lot of friends through my my gosh, I can't get the word out of my mouth.
Advocacy.
I give up. Through being an advocate, because they think I'm fighting against them. But I've also lost a lot of good friends because I've screamed and yelled at how they've tried to handle their divorce and what they've asked for in their divorce. But I have a lot of women friends or acquaintances that kind of lead with well, this is my husband's house and this is my this. Well, what man is going to touch you with a 10-foot pole when he's real aware right up front that you've already destroyed one man financially? Why would he think you wouldn't do it again?
Amen.
Can we just define a good man? In your words.
In my words, a good man is first and foremost going to be a man of action. He is going to anticipate and see a problem in this world before I would even see it. So he notices the sink is dripping before I would. And it doesn't mean that he has to be the man to fix it, but it does mean that he's the one that figured that was going to happen and makes a call. A good man is going to be loyal. He is going to be kind. He is going to be supportive. A good man is going to do things to not just better himself and constantly be working to make himself a better person, but better those around him. He's going to be a leader in our relationship and make decisions not in his best interest, but in our best interest.
Would we define a good woman in the same way, where she's going to make decisions in our best interest?
No, we wouldn't define a woman in that, because I truly do believe in I am by no means a submissive woman by any stretch of the imagination, but I do believe that if you have a strong man and if you have chosen a good man and you have chosen a strong man, you let him lead and make the major decisions for your relationship, because you've chosen somebody that you trust to do that for you. Now, if my man wants me to step in and make those decisions for him, I gladly will. But I believe as the head of the household and the man of the house, that is his position. He was more meant and built to do that. It is the nature of men versus women. Men are protectors and providers. Women are nurturers. That is how our bodies and our genetics are built. And I know a lot of women think I'm sending them back to 1950. No, that doesn't mean I think you need to be in the kitchen doing the dishes for him. You guys need to be partners, but he needs to lead, because ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to disagree about something. But if you trust him to lead, you're going to trust him to make that decision for you.
I love you.
Hey, Tammy, I got another one for you. So if you can, so there's basically subdivisions, and this is one thing that I believe Chuck and I see eye to eye on. I don't want to speak for him. He can tell me if I'm right, but if you narrow it down to the interpersonal skills between two people who have decided to have an interpersonal relationship and decide, loyalty and these rules and those rules and submissiveness and whatnot, at the end of the day, next to friends and family and neighbors and coworkers and everything else, let these ladies know, what is the one determining factor that decides if it is a relationship or any other interpersonal type of intermingling of humans on earth? What is the definition and the distinction between when a man can look at a woman and say, I know you as a human and you are my woman? Does that make sense?
Sex.
Thank you. Oh, dear God. I love you too.
I mean, if you don't have rock and bang and sex with your partner on a regular basis, you do not have a good relationship. Yes,
doesn't that make
times where things go on where you've got a medical problem that may prevent that? Yes, but if that's not going on and you're letting the day-to-day stress of life get between you and your partner, then you don't really have that good of a relationship. Because from my standpoint, if I'm having the shittiest day in the entire world, the best way to knock off the funk from the day is to get in the sheets or the counter or the couch, whichever it happens to be. Like, sex is very important in a relationship.
It's the glue that keeps the relationship together, right?
I
don't care how angry you are at somebody, you forget about everything once you're with them, and you go back to right where you started in that initial chemistry.
So many questions.
I'm just gonna write that down. Hot.
Hey, Paul, when you edit this video, I want you to put that on repeat 3 times.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say this is gonna be the promo clip of the week for this episode.
Just hot monkey sex 3 or 4 times over.
My mother's gonna love me one of these days. She watches all my stuff and she just shakes her head and goes, "Oh Lord."
Hey, my mom's the same way.
Maybe my mom and your moms could be friends. My mom even knows about my relationship views. Speaking of which,
Paul, do you have another question for Manicured Mom?
Yeah, this actually came up recently because the most recent episode we did with Goat. I mean, Goat was on the last week's episode at the time of this recording, but he was also our guest 2 weeks ago, and I brought up you, Tammy, as men need women as to advocate for men's rights, and I said because women like you pull on the heartstrings. You speak from an emotional level, which I think will sort of get women on board. And I had Mystic Lex, who was also a guest of ours at one point, stitch that video, and he's like, we don't need women to speak for us. And I want to get your take on that. Why do men need women to speak for us? There are women voters, yes?
You don't need women to speak for you. You are perfectly capable of speaking for yourself.
Sure.
But as with any of the laws that feminists got changed, like the laws that say we get equal pay, the laws that say you can't discriminate against a woman in the workplace, guess what? Men had to vote for them. And the same thing as getting any of these family court laws and getting things like more mental health, more domestic violence shelters for men around this country. Guess what? That costs money. You need women to be contributing to that money. And you also need women to vote for any of the major law changes that would better society for men. So if you only have these men advocating, and there are some men that are awesome, and there are some men that as they advocate, they spew nothing but hate because they've gone past the red pill and straight to the black pill, and they don't even believe that women have value. They make women angry at the entire men's rights movement. And so therefore you need women like me that come in and say, no, 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 look at, you realize if we don't get these changed, that dream of that little girl that you had her in a wedding dress when she was 2 and she's playing bride is never going to happen, because men are never going to marry her because people are teaching their sons not to do it. Do you realize when your son has a baby that when his wife divorced him, you're not going to get to hold your grandbaby ever again because she's going to take that baby with her? Like, women need to hear that, and women need to see that and see that emotional side, and also see that side of, they don't look at it from a side of seeing men's anguish and seeing the harsh words, that's how the harsh words impact men. Women don't see that unless it's thrown in their face. So someone like me can come in and throw it in their face, and women are like, whoa, I didn't realize this. So you guys don't need me to speak for you. You need me to speak with you to the women that aren't listening because of the extremists in the men's rights movement that are basically pissing women off and making them think that the movement is misogynistic, when in actually it's not. There's just a few misogynists within it.
So we're fighting fire with fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's more
And
like
that's whenever
enemy is my friend.
and that's whenever we go, yeah, you tell him, Tammy. You tell him. We tried to tell you, ladies. We tried to tell you, but you guys didn't want to listen.
Yep.
Oh, I have a question.
I've said it frequently in videos. Like, one day you're gonna wake up and realize that you should have done something and you should have changed. And I will be standing there going, told you so.
Paul, no, not Paul. Chuck, did you want to say something?
I just wanted to kind of segue on that, where like I totally get it. I have 2 daughters. I see them 1 hour a week now. We've got supervised visitation. The whole thing's fucking set up. I'm taking it to court. I'm beating it. I got another kid on the way. It looks like this one's going to be a boy, even though we're not finding out. It's either going to be a boy or a Democrat. I can read ultrasounds. I know what's up. But, what I want to know, furthermore, just give us some more tips on like how we can sway women to have your view. I mean, I really like the whole "you're never going to hold your grandbaby again" thing. What else can we do to get women to understand that we're people too, and not just wallets that can reach things on high shelves and pick heavy things up for you?
This is hard for me to say, but women will not admit it, but women want to be coddled, and women want to believe that it was their idea. They want to believe that they thought of it first. They don't want a man to tell them. And that is unfortunately how a lot of women are. They'll take, like, you can tell a woman, I can tell a girlfriend, you better put air in your tires, and she'll go do it. But if her husband tells her, she'll be like, look, I know what I'm doing. It is my car. I will handle it. And then she's calling from the road with a flat tire.
So help me be fluent in women.
It's their idea. So instead of saying this is how women need to change from a man's standpoint, you talk in a soft tone as to what you like, as to what you're feeling. Instead of saying we're angry, you talk about that anger and why it's there.
Got it.
Instead of saying we're upset or we're hurt, you talk about those emotions, because women are swayed by emotions. And hearing a man get down and dirty, and I get more reaction on my content when I have the background voice of a man saying something like that video that I posted the other day, which is just this guy listing off all of the man up, boys don't cry, men can't be raped, all the things that women have said to men through history that are shitty. The response on that from women has been like, holy crap, that's terrible and heartbreaking and crushing. So you have to play on women's emotions because we are much more emotional. I'm a much more logical person. And that's why a lot of times I struggle with my female friends. Women are not for the most part. So you have to hit their emotions to get them to listen. And seeing a man actually validly in pain as opposed to in anger will speak to a woman a lot more.
So let's say, Tammy. So let's say, imagine I had a bunch of wishes from a genie, and one of them was that my philosophy of it's just all antiquated, 2350 BC Mesopotamia, anti-miscegenation, horrible documentation that is the marriage license. Let's say that all young men listen to me and stop getting married, right? Because you notice a lot of good, highly productive men are starting. Women are finding them less and less because they're kind of just we're not active in the scene anymore. We're kind of just on the sides going, hey, we know what we've got. We're not messing with you because it's just too much of a, wow. Let's just say my philosophy took hold. What's your view of that? Honest, unbridled view of that. I
honestly don't have a problem if the philosophy of no marriage and marriage license takes hold. I do not have an issue with that. What I think the bigger issue, and that's why I'm focusing my time and what I'm doing on fathers' rights, is even if that all happens, people are still going to have children and men are still going to lose their children to women. So even if the marriage license goes away, it doesn't do it does absolutely no good to solve the issue of marriage if we don't solve the issue of children. Because to me, the taking a child from a father is a hell of a lot worse than some man, no offense, some man being screwed over in court, because y'all have lived some of your life and had some good life and you've grown enough to be able to recover from it. A child isn't even given a chance to fully develop from a psychological standpoint. There's been over 60 psychological studies that prove that children that are raised without both parents suffer mental health, poverty, jail, just an entire list of things over. And so we have to solve the family court issue for not just men, but for children and the future of our society. That's more important. And if marriage goes away in that, well, then it goes away.
I've actually got a solution, Goat. I've been working on this. I just want to throw it at you really quick. And I want you to marinate on it. Me and you can talk later offline. But, same-sex marriage is a thing now. So what if I make a lot of money and I just find a dude with great health insurance? I marry him. We don't ever have to do the sex part, but then we can be like spotters at the gym. We can never marry a woman when we fall in love because I'm already pledged to you.
Well, the whole thing is do you know why I was a fan of the gay marriage passing, like when I was in the military years ago? Because I figure, hey, let them all suffer like the rest of us.
Why should they be happy?
Right? But anyway, no, Tammy, that was the perfect answer because
Goat might get a little angry at you though, and he might leave you and take you for your money. Just be careful about that. He could still do it.
Yeah, but we can pound each other's faces in, and it's not like I beat up a woman or he beat up a woman. It's fine, and we'll shake hands, hug it out, and it'll be good.
Yeah, it's all good.
We'll be fair.
Hey, it's not gay underway. It's only queer on the pier. Hey, he gets it. He's a sailor. But no, I that perfect, Tammy, and that's where I was coming from with the whole family court system, because you know how I feel about being a father. And I'm so sick of this social narrative that mothers are better parents and that automatically they should get it's driving me insane, because I know fathers, so many fathers that love their children and so many fathers that are fighting for their children. And you can see it in their heart and in their face and in their work ethic. I just don't understand. And I've looked at it historically where this narrative that fathers aren't amazing parents. I don't even understand where it comes from, falsely in another universe, in another galaxy from. I don't get it. Men on here that are fathers, do you love your children?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do you feel about that social narrative?
It comes from women. women that were and a lot of times women that were stay-at-home moms. So of course, as a stay-at-home mom, you do the bulk of the parenting. That is the entire reason why your husband goes to work and works his butt off every single day. So you can be there for all of those amazing moments for your child. He is sacrificing his time with his child to allow the mother to raise them as opposed to having a stranger raise them. That is an amazing gift that a man can give a woman. But then they divorce that man for whatever reason, and they take the kids on the premise that he doesn't know how to be a parent because he doesn't know their doctor. Well, he never needed to because you were home and he was working 60 hours a week. You can give him that number. He's capable to do it because now that you're divorced, I'm sorry, honey, but you have to get a job too, because you have to support another household, and you might get alimony, but in a lot of states, you're only going to get it for a little while, and eventually you're going to have to pay the bills. And I don't care whatever narrative some people talk about when they're mad about child support, and I know child support sucks, but child support is never going to be enough to pay for your entire life. You still have to work on top of it.
Anybody else want to nominate this woman for a Nobel Peace Prize, or is it just me?
I was thinking she should just run for fucking president.
But it gets, but so women, but so then they take this side of the stay-at-home mom vibe, and then they go to court and they sue for custody, and then the reality of that hits them. Oh my Lord, I have my children 26 days a month. I'm working full time. I can't afford to get a babysitter, so I can never go on a date. I don't have a social life. And now they're angry. And now they start calling dude a deadbeat dad. Well, he doesn't have any more time because he doesn't want to spend time with his children. He doesn't love them. And it spreads like wildfire amongst women that these men are deadbeat dads. Well, he only wanted 2 days a week. Well, no, he wanted more. But you know what? You went back and forth for a year and a half. And he spent $62,000 on lawyers, and then he ran out and couldn't fight anymore because he had no more money.
It seems like a lot of these women just like to fight, and that's like the ultimate goal is warring, like level.
A lot of women are angry and hurt, and so they take their resentment out on that man without ever considering the damage that they're doing to their children, and without ever considering the fact of what this looks like to parent their children. Like I went 50-50, and I've had friends divorce, and they're like, why did you willingly give up so much time with your kid? And I'm like, girl, when you get divorced and you are working full time and raising a child, you will miss your child every single moment. I mean, every Monday, my ex-husband lives within walking distance of my house. I can stop by and see my kid every day, but no fail on Monday morning when I drop my kid off to school, knowing he's going to daddy's, I cry every Monday morning still, and it's been years. It's hard to not have my kid with me, but I also appreciate the fact that I can catch up on my housework. It gave me time to date and find a healthy relationship. It allows me to have something other than just working mom. And these moms that only get a day or 2 a month can't do that. They end up being miserable and bitter, and then they trash the man and they put the deadbeat dad narrative in everybody's mind.
My parents were actually divorced for 13 years, and they willingly went 50-50 custody, open door policy. They came and went as they pleased. And it was honestly probably one of the more, like, you remind me of my mom, with where it was a normal upbringing. You have both parents involved, and like, that's a compliment. She's a great woman.
I mean, my ex-husband and I went through hell and high water to get to this point. I mean, in the beginning, it was quite the nightmare. We had to go completely non-contact and only text through a app that was admissible in court to not destroy each other. And at the same time as we were doing this, we both went to major therapy to deal with everything we had gone through in our marriage. And then one day I ran into the store. We had a normal conversation, and it's been like that ever since. For goodness sakes, we went to Legoland for 4 days with our son together and stayed in the same hotel room.
I got a two-way restraining order. I insisted that she not contact me because I did not wish to be lied to or set up again and again and again and again.
I highly recommend to anybody to.
For the record, she's an advocate.
Yeah, Smart Co-Parent is an app that when you sign into it, basically, because your text messages aren't legally admissible in family court.
Well, actually, down here they are. As
Yeah.
long
In
as
some
it's on the,
states, well, okay, in some states they are not. In
Yeah.
South
Jersey,
Carolina,
they
they are not.
as long as
Um,
it's on the original device in many states.
Yeah, in South Carolina, it's not. Smart Co-Parent, when you sign into it, it acts just like text message. It shows up on your phone almost like a text message. It just that on that app, it says everything that you type in this app is legally admissible in a court of law, and it lists all the states and stuff. So you can basically you can actually forward the app to a lawyer and send them their own login, and they can see every scheduling change, every dollar that's exchanged. Like we put our tax receipts in, or we put receipts for, I don't know, sports equipment and all the things that we shared, doctor's appointments, things like that. We put them all in there. And then at the end of the month, it tallies it all up and it says, well, you owe him this or he owes you this.
Yeah, it's so sad that things have gotten to that point, you know. Like I told these gentlemen 2 weeks ago when I got together with them, I was like, you know, hey, look, I challenge all of you that I can out-simp you in my 20s. That the belief in the love and the family unit can overcome all stupidity. And admittedly, we all know I was wrong, but you know, you learn with age.
Can we both have a simp off one day?
I'm gonna win, bro. I'm gonna win.
I don't know, man. You got receipts because, like, shit.
Hey, me and you need to get the parenting app so we can send each other receipts. No, I'm just
I gotta look. Phones are admissible in New Jersey, and I've been keeping them since 2004. I got a big box of phones. It's like you're getting drugged to court for something that you did in 2006. Oh, let me go get my Trio 650. Fucking buy the old. It's insane.
Chuck, I think we need to get you some help, bro.
I think so too.
You know, the first step is admitting the problem.
So
what question when you get done?
What message do you have, Tam? Because eventually some young ladies are going to start watching this, and as well as men who want some good masculine guidance and, you know, some good solid foundation for people who aren't apologetic about their femininity or masculinity. But what advice do you have to these women who are basically just waking up in new modern internal marriage, modern hypergamistic value, to where social media and their DMs, especially social media and the internet, is telling them that, you know, they should have the 666 millionaire, and they settled for this hardworking guy who's only, you know, he's a mechanic or a real estate agent or a developer, or I've got a big list over here. But the point is, you know, the hardworking guy, and all of a sudden she thinks she deserves, you know, Mr. Whoever out here, because the world is telling her that, and she wakes up in a marriage with an actual decent man that all of these women are asking for, and she goes, "You're not enough. I'm gone. I deserve more because I know my worth." So knowing women from the internal workings of discussions with them and working with yada yada, if they're watching this, what advice do you have to them on looking at the actual man they have and realizing what's coming after their decision making, their modern hypergamistic decision making, if they go down that road?
First and foremost, I'm going to use a very cheesy saying, but the grass is only greener on the other side because it's being watered. They don't see what they once saw. And like, so if they're in this great relationship with this man that they were once hopelessly in love with, that they cried when he proposed, they probably cried on their wedding day, they had all these dreams, and all that sudden's gone away, they probably aren't watering their own grass. And they're probably not taking care of their marriage. So they've probably lost that sexual chemistry. They probably lost that attraction. Because I get it. Like, people change through relationships. People gain weight, men lose hair, women get heavier. All of that stuff happens. But you know what? I know a lot of couples that have amazing relationships through all of that because they've kept that sex alive, because at some point you stop seeing what a person looks like and you start seeing who they really are, and they're in love with who that person is so much that it doesn't matter if they didn't shave that day. It doesn't matter if they didn't comb their hair that day. Start watering that. And if you're not doing that, you need to be in therapy to work on not just you, because a lot of times people will stop working on their own relationships because they're not happy with themselves, because something's come along in life that they couldn't deal with, and they take that out on their partner. So I am such a proponent and an advocate for not just therapy individually, but therapy as a couple before you ever decide to walk away and think it's going to be greener on the other side, because it is not. And it is never going to be. And like for someone like me, single at 45 sucked. It was like a kick in the face. I was like, what is going on with this dating world out here?
I'm liking it, but all I heard was hot sex. Can you repeat the rest? All I heard was hot sex in there.
Hashtag hot sex.
Hashtag hot sex. I mean, you have to have that romance in your relationship, and you have to make an effort to keep it alive. And as much as men complain that women don't keep it alive, I have a lot of friends that are complaining about their sexless marriages with their husbands. My girlfriend's like, I bought Ray. I tried this. He's just not interested. He's turning me down.
I've seen that in the comments on my videos too.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I hear it just as much from my male friends as I do from my female friends.
It's crazy.
So I think it goes both ways. But and I always question my girlfriend. So have you been being nice to him? Or you just been being an ass all the time? Because maybe he doesn't want to have sex with you, because I see how you treat him, and you're kind of a bitch most of the time.
Yeah. That's why I'm soft.
Yeah.
All the time.
But that's where that's where counseling and therapy comes in, to get rid of that, like whatever happened 5 years ago that you're still harboring against your husband because of, or your girl, your wife, whatever your partner is, you have to let it go and move forward and attempt. And if you're not willing to do that, then walk away and deal with the shit that's out there today, because it's a whole different world. And I mean, I was not prepared.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up on that note. Does anyone else have any questions for Tammy or?
I got one in closing if we got a second.
Oh, yeah.
We going over too much, or can we do it? So, like, Tammy, just given the present dating environment, right, and the family court system, the way that it is, all these women are looking for your 666 man. I'm sitting here at 6'7", 8", and you figure out where those numbers fall, right? How are you supposed to date and have kids? Because, like, my inner circle, my family, my friends, every time I get involved with somebody new, it's like, what's this going to cost you? Like, how do we not be a target? I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm married for the second time. I got a baby mama, and it's like, in the back of my mind, yes, I love her. But part of the reason why I did it is willingly admitting that if this falls apart one day, it's just going to rain ass again, because women love a divorced man, especially one that's got a lot of shit. So how do we date? How do we not be preyed upon? Because as soon as I lead with an accomplishment, you're a fucking target. I'm getting more dates than I ever should. How do I get them to see the good man in here?
If you're looking for somebody that's truly going to like you for you, don't lead with that.
Right. So don't give him my full name until we've been dating for a year.
Oh, because Chuck is famous. You can Google him and all this shit comes up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess. That definitely makes it hard. But I mean, if you're getting to the point where you're 3 or 4 or 5 months in and they're talking serious and they're like, to me, that is the time that you have the conversation with people like, hey, I'm not taking this to the next level. I'm not there yet. I don't want a lifetime partner, but I don't want to waste the next 6 months of my life or year of my life to find out we're on different pages. Hey, if I ever intend to get married, I'm going to have an ironclad prenup.
I'm in Jersey. They don't hold up. So
it won't in Jersey?
No, and I was married to the assistant prosecutor.
In 47 states, there's 2 definite ways to overcome any ironclad prenup, but I won't get into that right now.
Yeah, you can put everything in a trust. The other side is so my friends just did this, and whether or not it'll stand up nationwide, I'm investigating to find out the answer. They had a baby, and the day that they had a baby, they put a custody agreement on that child 50 custody for the rest of its life, for split finances, split everything for the rest of this child's life. In the event that they separate tomorrow, they already have an agreement that's legally signed in front of a judge.
And,
Doesn't work.
And I did that, and I had that, and I had it invalidated because all you got to do is lie.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, the custody agreement is as good as the day it's written. So I wish I had some great advice for how you could protect yourself, but the best way is to really get to know somebody and just hope that they're a great person. And I know that's terrible, but there's really no way to 100% guarantee protection.
Don't get married.
Oh,
Hope's
Hey.
not a strategy.
Admiral said he has a
Hey.
guarantee
Book.
because I talk too publicly that I can't screw him over, because if I did, everybody would hate me.
there you go. On that note, fellas, all over the world, if you guys are watching this right now, I encourage you guys, make sure that you lead with your personality, not with your wallet. If you want a woman to like you for you, lead with your personality. Now with this, you see, my wallet is looking a little bit skinny. He used to have muscles. He used to be buff, but these dang women. Hey, Manicured Mom, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Where can people find you?
They can find me on TikTok at the Manicured Mom, on Instagram at the Manicured _ Manicured _ Mom. I have a YouTube page, The Manicured Mom. I'm on Clapper at The Manicured Mom. I have a Facebook group called The Manicured Mom Blog and a Facebook page called The Manicured Mom. So The Manicured Mom. And everybody should go follow the Father's Rights Movement on TikTok, which is at the Father's Rights Movement. And they have a Facebook page, the Father's Rights Movement.
Awesome. Cool. Well, on that note, guys, don't forget to like Chuck. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you guys buy. Everyone's got their okay.
FLC.
So, FLCS, sub to the channel, buy our merch. The link is going to be in the description. Until next time, we will see you guys later. Peace.